Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Firstly, I would like to apologize because it's been a long time and I have not been uploading any videos. So I have had some personal reasons. Anyway, so without wasting any time, today let us look at our topic listening skills. So let us begin. I would try to keep today's lecture in English itself so that a large number of people can be benefited from it. Later, I would try to bring a English or a Hindi version of it. So, listening is being able to be changed by the other person. It was said by an American actor and author, and he is quite renowned. He's called Alan Alda. Okay, so I am Swapnil Bhattacharya, as many of you know, and today I want to speak about something very fundamental to our lives, something that we do on a daily basis, and yet we fail to master listening skills. So, firstly, we need to understand what is listening. Listening is active process of receiving, interpreting, and understanding auditory stimuli. Firstly, what is listening? It is an active process. We need to remember that listening is an active process. It is not a passive process. We need to be actively involved in it. And what is the process about? It is about receiving, interpreting, and understanding auditory stimuli. So what is auditory stimuli? Auditory stimuli is basically a stimuli which we receive through our ears, okay? In audio format, let's say. Now, firstly we need to receive it, then we need to interpret it. Okay, let us say that I am listening something, then I would interpret it in my own way. I would try to find the meaning and then I would understand it. Okay, and it often involves focused attention. We need to focus in it. Okay, nextly, cognitive processing to comprehend spoken or auditory information. So the information that we receive, we need to comprehend it, okay, and process it. So that is all being spoken in these lines. Next, listening is the action of listening is the action of hearing words and sounds, making sense and evaluating them for meaning and responding. So what is listening? It is an action, as we have already discussed, of hearing words. So what is this action? It is the action of hearing words and sounds. It's not just words that we hear, right? While I am speaking, there might be some background noises that you're getting and you must also be hearing them, right? So the action of hearing certain words and sounds, making sense, that is interpreting them, and evaluating them for meaning or understanding them, as we have discussed in the previous definition, and then responding. Okay, for example, someone is saying that please go and fetch me some water. Then you are understanding it, interpreting it after hearing them. Okay, first step is hearing. When someone says fetch me some water, you are firstly hearing it, then you are interpreting it, and then you are understanding it, right? And the next step is essentially response. Fine. These are the 4 basic steps I'm saying. Okay, after that let us see what's happening. Okay, listening is far more in depth. So it is in depth, conscious, and an active process. In depth means it is not just a surface thing. Okay, hearing is a surface phenomenon, we can say. Okay, like it is not a very in-depth process. Next comes conscious. We do it when we are aware of it, right? We are aware that we are listening to something and we are usually trying to process it, interpret it, understand it, and then find some meaning and respond to it. Okay, and it is an active process, as I have discussed. We are going to actively participate in it or actively listen. Okay, and hearing is basically the perception of words or sounds. Perception means Here it's our ear, let's say. The words are going into the ear. This is called hearing. Okay. But in easy way, if we say from ear it is going into the brain, then it is called listening. Now let us look into the differences between listening and hearing. So listening and hearing are definitely related, but different processes, because hearing is involuntary. We often hear whenever we are doing something, or let us say if even if I am sleeping, subconscious level I would sometimes hear something, right, on a subconscious level. So it is an unintentional process. You are not always prepared to hear. Maybe something is going on in the background, maybe there is some noise in the background, but you are still hearing it. It's not that you can selectively cancel those. Yeah, sometimes it so happens that we get the headphones, okay, and we put them on, and these are the noise cancelling headphones which can selectively cancel the noises. But this is not the case every time, right? If we are not manipulating it, then naturally our body is meant to accept sounds or receive sounds, right? So the first step which I was telling, it could also be said it is receiving sound. Okay, receiving can be the first step here. Second is interpreting, third is understanding. Okay, next let us discuss. It is an unintentional process, I have already told you, through which the brain responds. It is involuntary, unintentional, and through it the brain responds to sound. Whenever there is a sound, the response of the brain is to receive that sound. In contrast, listening is voluntary, an intentional process through which the brain receives sounds and makes conscious effort to understand them. So, what is happening? The brain is receiving sound. It is an intentional process. You are aware, you are conscious, and you are ready to take up that those words. You are ready to take up, and you are ready to interpret them and understand them and respond to them. Right? Okay. So, hearing is a part of five senses, as I have discussed. Ear, right? Happens at most times, whether one is interested or not. If I keep you in a room and I start playing loud music, even if you are interested or if you are not interested, you have no other choice. You will have to hear that, right? Because our ears are active, and if they are active, then they will keep on catching some sounds, right? Now, in contrast, listening does not happen all the time, because you might hear something but you may not understand it or interpret it. Let us say you do not know how to speak Tamil, and I come to you and I start talking to you in Tamil. You would hear what I am saying and you would receive those sounds, but you would neither be able to interpret them, nor be able to understand them, and nor be able to respond to them, right? And listening needs someone to concentrate and engage the brain in driving meaning from sounds and words. Now, the next one, hearing is the ability to use the ears only. What is hearing? It is the ability to use the ears only. In contrast, listening is a skill and it requires one to use senses, including seeing, hearing, and the sense of touch. Okay? Now, hearing is physiological and only uses the ear, while listening is actually psychological and requires the use of the brain to interpret the message. Clear thing. See, you are just hearing something. It means that you are using your ears to receive that sound. And listening is psychological. It means that you are also using your brain to interpret it. So, as you can see that it is the same point that I'm making again and again and again. I'm constantly discussing this one thing. You just need to remember these things, like four things you need to remember. First, receiving. Okay, ignore the spelling. Second, interpreting. Okay, uh, I think, wait, I would just make it right. Right. First is receiving, interpreting, next understanding, and then responding. These are the steps of listening. If you just remember these things, then these points will be very clear to you. Next, hearing also happens on a subconscious level, meaning people are now aware of it and have no control over what they hear. In contrast, listening happens on a conscious level and requires one to receive information and derive meaning from it. This is the same thing that I am repeating once again, that hearing happens on a subconscious level, meaning we are not aware of it. It's not now, it will be not. We are not aware of it and have no control over it. Okay. And in contrast, when there is listening, we are actually listening to something. That means we are on a conscious level and intentionally we are receiving the sounds and trying to interpret them using our brain. Okay. Now, the qualities of a good listener: firstly, defer judgment. That is, you should not have any prejudice. You know what prejudice means? It means you have a preconceived notion about someone. Okay. You should not be having that. You should not judge someone. Instead of being judgmental, you should listen to the customer's feelings and assess the situation. Okay. Next, pay most attention to content and not to appearance. Let's say person comes to you who does not look very good in his appearance. Like let's say uh, he is very weird. He has what can I say? Let's say his clothes are very dirty and he is having pus all around his body and all over his body he is having pus and all, and like he looks very dirty, he looks disgusting, let's say. So your instinct will be to go away from this person and you would not like to listen what he is saying, right? But looks are deceptive, my friend. Okay. And it is possible that he is actually trying to tell something important and it is your responsibility to listen to it. But instead of listening, what are you doing? You are actually moving away from him. You are judging him by his appearances. Firstly, don't judge. Secondly, don't pay attention to his appearance. Just pay attention to the content or what he is trying to say. Next is listen completely. Okay, often what happens is we are in a hurry, we listen to half of what a person wants to tell us and then we act on it. Okay, instead we should try to listen completely and understand every nuance, which means understand everything that person is saying. Okay, each and every word. Next, listen primarily for the main idea and avoid replying to everything, especially sidetracking issues. Let us say I'm talking to you or I'm telling you something and then I just move on to some sidetracking issue which is actually, not related to the content, not related to the subject matter, and I'm diverting. So if you keep on responding, please tell me more, please tell me more, then I would keep on telling you about the sidetracking issue. Okay, instead of telling you about the main content. So you should listen primarily to the main idea. Let's say I'm talking about gulab jamun, just a random thing, and I started discussing rasgulla all of a sudden. So if you keep on asking me more and more about rasgulla, then how will you come to know about the gulab jamun, man? So you should pay attention to the main idea. Okay, next, do one thing at a time. Realizing that listening is a full-time job. Often what we do is we are habituated to multitasking. Nowadays we often try to do multitasking. Whenever we are in college, we try to browse through internet, we try to open some reels and do some stuff, we try to open our mobiles and laptops and all, and we do not pay appropriate attention that we must pay to our lectures that are going on, right? That is what I'm trying to say, that listening is a full-time job. You need to understand that. Okay. And you should do one thing at a time. Either look into your phone, look into your laptop, or just listen to what that teacher or that person in front of you is trying to convey, what he is saying. Okay. Then whenever a person finishes saying something, stay silent for a few seconds after the speaker finishes to let them complete their thought. Let's say I have completed a sentence, then just 1 second later I was about to start another sentence, but you didn't wait for this 1 second. In between, you started to say something else. So that actually interfered with my line of thought, which ended up in resulting me not telling you about this thing, this sentence which I was about to tell you, right? That's what I am trying to discuss. And I have previously also mentioned that listen completely here. You can see the third point, listen completely and trying to listen or understand each and every nuance, right? Okay. Giving affirming statements and invite additional comments. Okay, let's say I'm talking about gulab jamun. I have told you about the structure, that it is round in shape, spherical in shape. There is some rus, or what can we say, that liquid syrup. Okay, there is that syrup and it is kind of caramelized and everything. I'm telling you now, you can give these are actually affirmative responses. We often say na this is affirmative response. Okay, or else we can say yes, 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 please keep telling me more, please tell me more. Or if you want to know more, like let us say I am discussing an incident about any case, let's say that has happened recently, like let's say I'm discussing anything. It might be a recent affair or anything, or maybe, like, let's say I'm just discussing about my friend. Okay, my friend who just recently got married. So you can invite some comments from me, like you can say that okay, he got married, that's nice, but who did he get married to? You can ask for or request additional information. Am I clear? Okay, so now these are the keys to building powerful listening skills. Before that, we need to know that these are the qualities of a good listener. So what will be the qualities of a poor listener? The qualities of a poor listener will be absolutely opposite to what we have discussed. One who judges, who does not respect the customer's feelings and does not assess the situation properly. One who does not pay attention to the content and pays more attention to the appearance. One who does not listen completely and is always in a hurry, trying to not really trying to understand every nuance, right? One who does not listen primarily to the main idea, okay, for the main idea, and who replies to everything, especially the sidetracking issues. So this way, you can just make it up. Just the reverse of these things, right? Now, keys to building powerful listening skills. First, control external and internal distractions. There are many things going on in our heads. Like let's say the voices in head. Voices in our heads. This is a very good example. Okay. We all have this thing probably going on in our head. We are constantly thinking about something or the other. We get 1,000 or maybe even more than that thoughts in a day, right? We do not act on all of them, that's right, but there are distractions everywhere, you know. Let's say I'm talking to you right now. At this moment someone might be at your door pressing the doorbell, or maybe calling you. Maybe your mother is calling you to help her with some work. Maybe someone else is calling you. So these are the distractions, given that the primary work that you're doing right now is listening to me. So there are external distractions that can be sound, or maybe some network issues, maybe noises going on right in the background. Apart from that, see, you need to be actively involved in the conversations. Okay, whenever, as we have discussed right here, affirming statements, whenever we are discussing, you can nod. Okay, nod affirmingly. ठीक है, you can ask that okay, what happened next? Okay, next, separate facts from opinions. Do you know what is the difference between facts and opinions? See, opinions is something that I feel or a person feels. It is subjective. And facts are actually kind of universal, we can say. These do not change with subjects. These are objective. Objective and opinions are subjective. Fine. So we need to differentiate between both. We should identify the important facts. Like, let's say I'm telling you that the human body is made up of 70% water. Then you need to identify that the 70% water is actually an important fact which we should remember, right? We should avoid interrupting. Let us say that two people are talking. If the one constantly keeps on interrupting him or her, or the other person, then that person would not feel like talking. He would feel that, okay, this person is constantly interrupting me. It means he is not quite interested to listen, right? Ask clarifying questions. As I have said that, let's say I am telling you that my friend got married or I just got married. You can ask me questions to clarify that, okay, when did you get married? Whom did you marry? Right? Although these are quite personal questions, but I'm just giving you an example anyway, right? Coming to the next topic, take notes to ensure retention. Let us say that you are having a biology class and your teacher is teaching you about fungus and the characteristics of fungi. Now, the point is that you cannot retain all of it. The teacher is saying something, you are listening, but the listening is not effective until and unless you can retain what your teacher have taught in the class or what he or she has tried to convey. So the appropriate thing to do would be to take notes, like a little bit, like let us say there is some acetate fungi, okay, maybe multinucleated, let's say, okay. So you can write those characteristics down so that you can revise them or you can remember them. Now, those who don't know, aseptate fungi actually mean that septum or division is absent. This is the division, let's say, this is absent. So they are aseptate and multinucleated, that many nuclei are present in a single cell. Okay, these are just sidetracking issues as I have already told you. Do not pay much attention to them. These are the examples which I am trying to tell you so that you are able to understand the concepts better. Okay, next, be aware of potential gender differences. See, due to some gender differences, things might not be the same for both men and women. Some things might change, might differ. So that's all I'm trying to convey, that there might be potential gender differences. We should also pay proper respect to that. Next, listening is a consensual activity. No one can be forced to listen. It is very clear. Since I have said that it is a conscious activity, like hearing is not actually properly consensual, I would say, because if you are forced to hear something, you would hear it probably. But listening is not like that. You cannot be forced to listen until and unless you are willing to listen that or listen to that rather. It is a skill over which every individual has complete control and it is driven totally by internal motivation. Let's say you are not feeling motivated enough to watch this video or learn more about the listening skill, then you would skip this video or you would just close it, right? But if you are getting some internal motivation and if you are actually interested in learning about listening skills, then it is not rocket science to know that you would be watching the video fully, right? Okay, so as I have told that, you might as well subscribe my channel for more future videos, and I promise that I would try to bring you videos regularly. I would try to upload the lectures related to forensic science, interesting crimes and interesting criminal cases, recent cases, okay? And I would try to keep you fully entertained, and along with that I would try to increase your knowledge too. So please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Next, you can also let me know in the comment section whether you would like videos in English or Hindi, okay? Because I have seen some people who actually want me to make videos in English so that they can also be benefited from it because they are not very well versed in Hindi. Anyway, we are not going into the sidetracking issues. Instead, we will just come back to the topic. In general, we are unaware of the price we pay for being poor listeners. That's very true. When communication problems occur, we usually blame everyone else and do not consider that our listening quality may be involved. Let us say you just didn't notice in the class and the teacher actually told you about an exam that is going to happen. There was some communication gap, you could not understand what the teacher said, or maybe you could not get the message, and what happened is you did very I'm actually not going to use the word fail, but you didn't quite ace it. Okay, you didn't get good marks in the exam. So since you didn't do well, you tended to blame the teacher, that the teacher did not quite inform us, right? But the problem actually lies within you, because you did not pay proper attention to the teacher, you did not listen when the teacher told you, right? So this is it. We need to pay attention to ourselves first. We need to know that our listening quality may also be involved in problems we are facing. Now let us talk about the four ineffective listening styles. So notice the word ineffective. These are the ineffective listening styles that we should not follow. First is missing in action listener. Second, the distracted listener. Third, selective listener. And fourth is contentious listener. Let me explain the third and the fourth first, because these are quite interesting, you know. Third one, the selective listener, who listens to something which he wants to listen, okay? Only either the positive or the negative. Selectively. Contentious are quite similar, but they actually listen only to find the negative points and to negatively aggressive listening. This is a negatively aggressive listening style, and they only listen to reject. They are not actually in the mood to listen to the entire thing that you said or the entire message. They are determined to disagree. Fine. Coming back to 1 and 2, missing in action. This is a typically passive or detached listening style. They are physically present but clearly mentally or intellectually they are absent. Like let's say you are just sitting in the class and teacher is giving lectures, but your brain is actually not present there. Your brain is actually in the home thinking that, okay, my cousin is getting wedded, it is my cousin's wedding, I wish I could also attend it, right? You're physically being present in the class, but you're mentally absent. That is a passive or detached listening style. Coming back to the number 2, the distracted listener, they are consumed by some urgent internal issues like the voices in the head that I said. They may be doing 2 or more things at once, right? Mastering the art of listening. So by mastering the art of listening, what can we do? One can build stronger relationships, because when you listen to people, you are giving them value and the people feel that, okay, I am being valued. So the relationship somehow gets improved, right? It helps to resolve the conflicts more effectively because there will be no communication gap, there will be no misunderstandings, and things will be smoother, right? Gain valuable insights and information, obviously. Next, become a more trusted and respected individual. So gain valuable insights and information, as in when you listen to someone, your knowledge base gets improved, right? Become a more trusted and respected individual. Everyone respects people who are good listeners because you are respecting them. When you're listening to someone, you are actually respecting them, and it is human nature to respect someone who respects you, right? In conclusion, I would like to say that listening is more than just hearing words. I have already explained the clear difference between hearing and listening. It is about paying attention and understanding. It helps build good relationships and solve problems. So, practice listening skills for better connections with others. That's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day. Also, let me know if you have liked this video. Let me know in the comment section whether you would like my videos in future to be in English or in Hindi language, or maybe using both English language. Okay? Have a good day. Take care. Happy learning.